We all know and love Disney for the magic and the princesses and the theme parks, but did you know that during World War II, Mickey Mouse, he went to war, you guys. Paige is live at the Dallas Holocaust and Human Rights Museum for the must-see exhibit, the Walt Disney Studios in World War II exhibit. Hello, Paige. Good morning.
Good morning to you and good morning, Texas. The horrors of war, particularly World War II, are undeniable. But how do you keep the morale high for the soldiers in the field, as well as for folks back home sending their loved ones to war? Well, this guy can help. Donald Duck and all the Disney characters, and the man, the magician, Walt Disney himself, was very vital to the war effort from the very beginning. I'm excited to introduce you to Mary Pat Hickens. She is the president of the Dallas Holocaust and Human Rights Museum. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Paige. Always good to be with you.
I am so happy that you're here to talk about this fantastic exhibit. This was something that Disney jumped into from the start. We're talking Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th.
That's right.
He got a call. All of a sudden, his Walt Disney Studios, the magnificent studios where people lived and did these wonderful animations, were immediately completely converted into a war base. Tell us more.
That's right. The very next day, December 8th, 500 soldiers showed up. They were anti-aircraft soldiers, and that's because there was an aircraft factory next to Disney Studios. So they moved in immediately. It's incredible how quickly they mobilized. And Walt Disney immediately realized that he needed to be a part of the war effort.
Yes, so from the start, we're talking from the word go.
Yes.
And everybody was so willing to jump in, lend their talent, lend their resources, and in his case, be able to provide his employees still employment opportunities.
Correct.
By converting his studio, as well as putting the animators on a different course, creating content that kept morale high, in addition to very vital training exercises as well.
That's correct. Through this work, 90% of their work over World War II was done to support the military in the war effort at cost, so there was no profit. And one of the things that I think is so interesting is his illustrators started doing training films. You know, the war started quickly. The military amassed, so many soldiers that needed to be trained, and Disney illustrators were storytellers. One of the things in this exhibit is the Norden bomb sight. It was very difficult to use, but it was one of the reasons we won the war. 2 different sets of illustrators worked on a training film, and it was put together at the end, so neither set knew exactly how to use the bomb sight, but it trained the soldiers.
It trained the soldiers.
It
so
did.
We're talking technical training videos so that the soldiers knew how to create these machines that did very targeted shootings during the war effort. But then also insignias. Now this is something that of course Disney is very well known for, and these insignias you could see spotted on the planes, on flight jackets, throughout. And what I find so interesting is that people would write in and request a specific insignia that was special to them. Tell us more about these letters.
Well, I think the letters are terrific. There's one from a lieutenant colonel saying, "Mr. Disney, would you please create an insignia for my men?" And most of the letters, the men in the unit had actually drawn an insignia and knew what they wanted.
Well, and look at this. You have an opportunity. It's always interactive here at the Dallas Holocaust and Human Rights Museum. Let's press this one, for example.
It's my favorite.
Now look at here. Pepe Le Pew, ironically, he is a chemical battalion. I think that's really interesting.
I do too.
And of course, there's a lot of local ties too.
Yeah.
We've got, Texas is very represented in this exhibit. This was an insignia for a flying school in Ellington Field, Texas. And then you can also see other representations of where the insignias are.
There were stamps, there were matchbooks, these were a way for a unit to feel a sense of camaraderie and pride. And it really, had humor too. It lifted their spirits.
Women played a pivotal role, not only
did.
at the Walt Disney Studios, but their roles were then elevated during World War II. These are the WASP squadrons. This is a Sweetwater, Texas. We have the claim to fame to these remarkable women. And so wonderful insignias were created on their behalf that are particularly special.
Yes, Fifanella is the darling little Avenger, and she came from the book The Gremlins by Roald Dahl. Walt Disney created it for the Gremlins, and he thought that it would be a perfect insignia for these women. She was spunky and courageous.
These characters were also great for the kids. This was an insecure, very frightening time for children, but kids could get involved. War bonds were issued. Your mother had a personal story where she saved her shekels, saved her little dimes to send to the war effort. So this was also a way to get the kids involved and also make the war less scary. Also encourage families to find different ways that they could participate by doing things to save fuel, such as hitchhiking as an example, or sharing your car ride. And the great news is that Walt Disney himself, he was honored for his contribution to the war. And look at this Oscar statue. This is something that is really different and really special.
Well, he received this, or Disney Studios, for De Fuhrer's Space, and which was a very patriotic film. And this Oscar was made of wood and paint, because everything was rationed during the war.
You've got to come and see this exhibit. It's going to be here through mid-September. The information is on your screen. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate it.